Today we're going to be talking about some systems we built for Sunset Overdrive. This is for Vanity. We built a limb-based movement system so we could support all the different clothing types that you could potentially swap out in the game.
Oh, honey, it looks like you're wearing a poor person costume.
So we would support your arms, your torso front, torso back, legs, hips. Each switch group would then support the clothing type that could be applied to that limb in-game. Timing was critical on all the assets for the Vanity system. Since you had close to 5 or 6 layers playing at the same time on an action, their envelopes really needed to match to feel cohesive. Here we're looking at run in particular and all of the clothing types that we supported on legs. The cool thing about this system was that it was driven through a config file that we could define the switch group as well as the switch on each clothing piece in the game. So no additional code support was actually ever required anytime we wanted to add new switch groups or add new switches. Here we're taking a look at all of the different switch groups that we supported and the clothing pieces that existed within those groups. Here's an example of the event. We would still only drive single movement events on the animation, but we would apply all the switch groups to a single event. This made it less taxing. Initially, we had developed a system that was an animation tag per limb, and we quickly discovered that that was just very cumbersome on the designers. We wanted to, make the most effective, efficient pipeline and make the designers spend more time on content than actual implementation process. It's also important to note that in the game they supported different layers of clothing. You might have a t-shirt on, but then you could put a jacket on top. So we needed to ensure that the switches would have appropriate fallbacks if you unequipped an item. We'd also want to have a priority system built that you could set that if you had, a t-shirt and a bandolier wrapped around your chest and you wanted to hear the bandolier over the t-shirt, that you could prioritize it as such. For the Vanity system, we ended up supporting about 28 different clothing pieces. We had originally scoped this much higher, but ended up cutting back. There were about 9 behaviors for hands, 15 behaviors for all other limbs, around 6 variations of type, about 6 variations apiece. This totaled close to 2,520 assets.